Welcome back to CIO Career Coach, where we're discussing what it takes to be a successful CIO in the digital era. In today's episode, we address one of the most difficult responsibilities for today's CIO, driving operational change. Let me start with a simple model brought to me by Wolfgang Richter, formerly CIO of PwC. In every company, there are three layers. There's the strategy layer, the operating layer, and the systems layer. Most companies are great at the strategy layer. They understand the importance, for example, of a strategy that creates a global enterprise from a set of previously decentralized businesses. But the operating layer? That's where most companies struggle. Think about it. Who's going to tell all of those cranky P&L leaders that we're one global company now? Who is going to tell them to trade in their beloved processes for a new global standard? So, executive teams often decide on a strategy, but then skip that murky operational layer and go right to systems. "Oh, CIO," they say, "won't you build us a single instance of SAP? Won't you build us an integrated data strategy or a global CRM system?" The problem, of course, is that master data management is political. If you haven't created change on the operating layer, don't bother with systems. And what happens when you put new technology over old processes? You get expensive technology and a lot of frustration. Michael Mathias, CIO of Blue Shield of California, sees this challenge as an opportunity. To quote him, "As CIOs, we have the luck and the curse to see the enterprise end to end. We can see the gaps, the possibilities, the history, and the future. It is our responsibility to bring that perspective to the table. We must have the courage to let everyone see when the baby is ugly." So how does a CIO, whose job has always been defined as leading on the systems layer, climb over to that operating layer to create change? How does a CIO get a committee of executives who have spent the last 30 years focused on their own region, function, or P&L to look up, out, and in the same direction at your company's future? How does a CIO get powerful, opinionated, and sometimes change-resistant executives to pick up their oars and row the boat forward as a team? Here's how some CIOs are rising to the challenge. 1. Look to other companies. Jim Fowler, CIO of GE, knows that peer pressure is a powerful force in driving operational change. To quote him, "Most business leaders don't know that their processes are inefficient. My approach to educating them is to take them to see other companies who are doing things better than we are. My introducing them to other companies who are using technology to drive efficiency does more in one meeting than I can do in a month of discussions." 2. Use business architecture as a unifying tool. Michael Mathias uses the concept of business architecture to get a wide array of leaders to agree on a standard set of processes. When Mathias became CIO of Blue Shield of California, the company was running most of its processes in silos with very little ability to leverage investments across the enterprise. One major area ripe for change was customer engagement. To quote Mathias, "I sat down with each business area to talk about what we were doing separately and what we needed to be doing collectively. By focusing on business architecture before technology architecture, we could get each leader on the same page. In those early meetings, I didn't talk about technology at all." 3. Become an enterprise leader. When Kathy McGillicott was CIO of Emerson, the global manufacturing company, she drove operational change by positioning herself as a broad enterprise leader rather than as the manager of the IT function. As such, she established a business IT strategy board made up of 25 Emerson executives to get everyone to start thinking together about operational change. While at first, the members expected to hear IT project status updates, they quickly learned that this board was different. This board would talk less about IT activity and more about big picture topics like the Internet of Things and the digital customer experience. Once the company's most senior executives agreed on the vision for Internet of Things at Emerson, they were that much closer to driving operational change. When IT changes the business, CIOs must be the business. And today, being the business means assuming a leadership role on that tricky operating layer. Data analytics arm CIOs with tremendous insight into the true state of end-to-end business processes. With better tools to see the truth and a greater mandate to tell the truth, CIOs are beautifully positioned to move out of a pure IT role and drive major operational change. Next up in the series, Rethinking Shadow IT.